Welcome back, Commanders, for this newest update on No Time Left. First, I want to thank LT Gaming for their latest coverage of No Time Left. They're a great bunch of guys, and the two brothers do a fantastic job of updating the community on all sci-fi games coming out, and maybe little hidden gems that we may have missed along the way. Um, what I'd like to do before I get started for today's video, I always forget to do this. I focus more on the development side of No Time Left than the marketing. Uh, if you enjoy this content, if you'd like to share it and help it become as successful as it could be, please give the video a like or leave a comment. I read all of the comments and all of the coverage for No Time Left, or share it with a friend, relative, or someone that you think may like sci-fi or these types of games. It really does help get the word out, and it helps us reach a wider audience as we move closer and closer to release and all that good stuff. So thank you in advance for that. Now let's get to the good stuff. So the reason for today's video is this comment on the latest video from LT Gaming's No Time Left coverage. Richard Phillips 1066 commented that he was really interested in the art of No Time Left, but wanted to know if there would be aliens and not just pirates and exotic ships. A fantastic question, and one that, as a developer, I sort of should have answered, but forgot to, just because there's so much, and I sort of forget what I've covered and what I've already talked about. So let's get into it today. So we're going to talk about the 6 main species, races of No Time Left. They are the Astrolith, Fabrixi, the humans, Nanomorphs, Silicarian, and the Zonari. Okay, so I'm going to go into a little bit of detail each one. There's a lot of lore and a lot of detail that I won't be getting into today, but if you like it and you want to hear more of it, just leave a comment down below and I'll get to it. So first up is the Astrolith. This ship is a template right now. This is not the final design. Again, unless the community says they really love this ship. I am partial to this ship. It is one of the first ships that I worked with on this project, so it holds a special place in my heart. But otherwise, the Astrolith are a very powerful and ancient race, sort of halfway between energy and matter. You can see an image of what they look like above me, and every race will have bonuses or stats to their health and damage and the energy required for their weapons that you can see off to the side, right there, right there. And it'll make each weapons and ship a little bit more unique as you go through No Time Left levels. Okay. Next up is the Fabrixi. This is the Fabrixi A ship. The Fabrixi are a species of insect-like creatures that are very capitalistic in a way. They build and build and build. They want to build the most inexpensive goods and sell it for the best price type of thing. Think of like the Ferengi, if you're a Star Trek fan, right? They're all about was it gold-plated latinum or whatever the currency was, I forget. So Fabrixi weapons are incredibly powerful, but because they're made with cheap materials, they tend to have lower integrity, right? So fewer hit points, so to speak. But again, they're very powerful and they're very inexpensive. But because they use lesser shielding, they're also a lot more susceptible to things like ion pulses. And their hacking, I think, is about the same as the standard. Okay. Next up is everyone's favorite, the humans. Humans, as in most projects, are the standard to measure against. So everything for a human is basically 1 or 100%, right, depending on how you measure it. This is the starting ship, or the C variant of the starting ship that you could unlock through gameplay. Uh, they don't receive any positives or negative bonuses. Everything is measured against humans. So again, everything that you see here for the species is either plus or minus related to the human species. Okay. Next up are the Nanomorphs. The Nanomorphs are a race of what humans would call artificial intelligence, but in the broader galaxy, they're just considered a life form, a metallic a life form made of metal, right? They have their own culture, their own language, everything. So Nanomorphs were the first race to make contact with humanity, and that's why you'll see a lot of similarities between human ships and Nanomorph ships. Nanomorphs are very good uh, against hacking. They recover much more quickly against hacking attempts than other species do, but they are more susceptible to ion pulses because of the type of life form that they are. They are very energy efficient as well, so they use less energy, but their weapons do a little bit less damage and have a little bit less health. So a little bit of a trade-off there. Okay. Next up are the Silicarians, a rock-based or granite type of based life form that you might see. Silicarians are a warfare and culture, right? So they love the thrill of the battle and honor. Think Klingons if you're, again, a Star Trek fan. And Silicarians, because they come from a very harsh environment, their weaponry and ships have a lot more protection. They have a lot more health. Okay, so their systems also use more energy because of their environmental systems to keep things cool or warm, right? Because they come from a very harsh environment. So their damage is equal to humanity's, but they have a lot more health, right? So very interesting ship and species to work with. Okay, now here are two special mentions. These are not species specific. This is the Republic ship. After humanity allied when all the governments decided to form a single alliance on Earth to combat whatever the broader threat in the galaxy was. After the Mako was commissioned in 2179, they quickly realized they were going to need something better. So over time, when the Earth Alliance formed the Republic, this is what they came up with. This is the sort of main cruiser of the Republic ship. It comes with a main battle gun built into the superstructure of the ship, if you can see right there in the middle. Um, no particular benefits. It is human based, but just a cool ship to look at. Okay, and then here is our stealth ship. This was built for humanity under secrecy by the Nanomorph species, a very secretive project. This is a smaller ship. These ships aren't necessarily shown to scale because this is one of the smaller ships. It only has placements for 4 weapons, but it is very quick, it is very agile, and is the only ship that begins with the cloaking system in place. So a very different play style than a sort of duke it out and just pummel your enemy into submission that the Silicarians might take. Okay, and the final ship will be the Zonari, a very ancient and special race. And I think that ship is just going to be so powerful, and their weapons are amazing, and just a great all-around species to have created. So those are the species stats and special notes I wanted to bring to everyone's attention for the project No Time Left. I hope you guys really enjoyed it. It's really fun to work with, and I have a lot more content that I have to get to. As I always say, I love working on the project, so taking this time to update you guys on the video is fun, but it's really not something I'm good at, so it takes me a lot longer to produce these videos. So I'm happy to make this one, and if you guys want to see any other specific content, just leave me a comment down below, and I'll see you next time.